Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ashtatarshata Shri Srimad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ashtatarshata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvitam Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Shri Guru and all glories to the Simul devotees. All glories to the Simul devotees. All glories to the Simul devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and go around. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Sorry, on TSKP, when we have two partners, then we skip it. I got used to it. We skipped all glories to the Simul devotees. Okay, so Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 15. Canto 3, chapter 15, description of the kingdom of God.
Jai.
Text 1 and 2.
Okay.
Maitreya uvāca. Prājāpatyam. Tu tat-teja. Para-tejo-hanaṁ. Diti. Dadhāra. varṣāṇi. śatam. śaṅkamānā. sura-ardanāt. Maitreya uvāca. Prājāpatyam tu tat-tejaḥ. para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ. dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam. śaṅkamānā surārdanāt. Maitreya uvāca. Prājāpatyam tu tat-tejaḥ. para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ. dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam. śaṅkamānā surārdanāt. Maitreya uvāca. Prājāpatyam tu tat-tejaḥ. para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ. dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam. śaṅkamānā surārdanāt.
Maitreya uvāca.
Prājāpatyam tu tat-tejaḥ.
Prājāpatyam tu tat-tejaḥ.
para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ. dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam. śaṅkamānā surārdanāt.
Maitreya uvāca. Prājāpatyam tu tat-tejaḥ.
para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ.
dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam. śaṅkamānā surārdanāt.
Maitreya uvāca. Prājāpatyam tu tat-tejaḥ. para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ. dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam. śaṅkamānā surārdanāt.
Maitreya uvāca. Prājāpatyam tu tat-tejaḥ. para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ. dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam. śaṅkamānā surārdanāt.
Maitreya uvāca. Prājāpatyam tu tat-tejaḥ. para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ
para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ
dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam
dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam
śaṅkamānā surārdanāt
śaṅkamānā surārdanāt
Maitreya uvāca
Maitreya uvāca
prājāpatyam tu tatteja
prājāpatyam tu tatteja
para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ
para-tejo-hanaṁ ditiḥ
dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam
dadhāra varṣāṇi śatam
śaṅkamānā surārdanāt
śaṅkamānā surārdanāt Maitreya uvāca. The sage Maitreya said, Prājāpatyam of the great Prajāpati, but tat-tejaḥ his powerful semen, para-tejaḥ others' prowess, hanam troubling, diti Kaśyapa's wife, dadhāra bore, varṣāṇi years, śatam 100, śaṅkamānā being doubtful, sura-ardanāt disturbing to the demigods. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Śrī Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, Diti, the wife of the sage Kaśyapa, could understand that the sons within her womb would be a cause of disturbance to the demigods. As such, she continuously bore the powerful semen of Kaśyapa Muni, which is meant to give trouble to others, for 100 years. Purport. The great sage Śrī Maitreya was explaining to Vidura the activities of the demigods, including Lord Brahma. When Diti heard from her husband that the sons she bore within her abdomen would be causes of disturbances to the demigods, she was not very happy. There are two classes of men, devotees and non-devotees. Non-devotees are called demons, and devotees are called demigods. No sane man or woman can tolerate the non-devotees giving trouble to devotees. Diti therefore was reluctant to give birth to her babies. She waited for 100 years so that at least she could save the demigods from the disturbance for that period. Om Agyana Timrandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishram Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Didati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Haripye Vanchakapa Triyubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Srimate Dhanavirga Swami Nitinamane Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Kacharya Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Jani Satarine. I was just wondering when I was saying the prayers, do any of the devotees know on which side is which personality in the...
On the right side is Lalita, on the side of Radhani is Lalita, on the other side is Vishaka.
Okay. Just wanted to know because we're doing the Mangal Arti for their pleasure every day, and I didn't know that. So, we're reading about Kaśyapa Muni and Diti, his wife. She is bearing this powerful semen of Kaśyapa in her womb for a longer amount of time because she knows it'll give trouble to the demigods. That was described in the verse, tat-tejaḥ, his powerful semen is, where is it? there's another word that was similar there. Tejaḥ, para-tejaḥ, others prowess, hanam, troubling. It was going to be troubling to others. It was going to be troubling to the demigods. Like Srila Prabhupada said in the translation, Kaśyapa Muni, the powerful semen of Kaśyapa Muni, which was meant to give trouble to others. So since she knew that this semen would turn into children who would be a complete disturbance to the whole universe, she tried to do at least her part to prevent that trouble for some time. And in the Bhagavatam, this verse is there. What is it? I wanted to see if I had it written down anywhere. There's that verse explaining that one shouldn't become. Oh, here it is. No, that's not it. Anyway, there's that verse explaining that one should not become a husband, a teacher. 5:5:18. Here, I'll just pull it up. Guru na sasyat swajano na sasyat pita na sasyaj janani na sasyat daivim na tatsyan na patishcha sasyan namochedya samupeta mrityum. One who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. So a conditioned living entity who is not trained in the science of Krishna consciousness and is not able to control their senses and perform these different activities that are there for regulated life and bringing in good progeny like the Garbhadan samskara and these things, they should also bear their troublesome semen and not let it become disturbing to other living entities by turning into varna-sankara, demoniac children. So we see Diti, she was doing this some amount of austerity because she knew that once these children are out, they're just going to be a disturbance to good people. And Srila Prabhupada said in the purport that no sane person can actually tolerate non-devotees giving trouble to devotees. And we see that sometimes like in the O Hare Krishna Airport book and other devotees speaking on their experiences of book distribution. Sometimes it's seen that, okay, there's some demon causing trouble to some book distributors. And just any sane passerbys, they don't like to see it, or they'll root for the devotees or support them in some way. There's one devotee explaining how he was distributing books in the airport. This was, might have been Vijay Prabhu. Distributing books in the airport, someone punches him, and then he just keeps asking the person to take the book, like calmly asking them to take the book. And then he just kept going on with his book distribution to other people. And another person walked up to him and was saying, wow, I can't, like, how did you just like tolerate that? They were so amazed to see that he wasn't disturbed by this. And then this person bought some books from him. So like this, sane people don't like to see devotees getting disturbed. And Diti, although we see her do some less sane things in the Bhagavatam at times, at least in this point here, she's very sane and not wanting the demigods to be disturbed by her children. So that's the importance of Varnashram, is it's there to make a whole system where the culture of how devotees are supposed to live and be Krishna conscious can be passed on generation to generation, instead of the current modern culture of Varna Shankara being passed on generation to generation. Lusty parents making lusty children who shoot up schools and make so many different problems in the world. So there's just a few points on that, but I was told to also speak on the text 2 here. So I'll go on to that. Loke tena hata loke lokapala hato jasaha nyavedayan vishva shrije dvanta vyati karam disham. By the force of the pregnancy of Diti, the light of the sun and moon was impaired in all the planets. And the demigods of various planets, being disturbed by that force, asked the creator of the universe, Brahma, what is this expansion of darkness in all directions? Purport. It appears from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam that the sun is the source of light for all the planets in the universe. The modern scientific theory, which states that there are many suns in each universe, is not supported by this verse. It is understood that in each universe there is only one sun which supplies light to all the planets. In Bhagavad Gita, the moon is also stated to be one of the stars. There are many stars, and when we see them glittering at night, we can understand that they are reflectors of light, just as moonlight is a reflection of sunlight. Other planets also reflect sunlight, and there are many other planets which cannot be seen by our naked eyes. The demoniac influence of the suns in the womb of Diti expanded darkness throughout the universe. So in the same way, we see modern bogus scientists, I'm not saying all scientists, but bogus scientists, ones who are stepping beyond their bounds of understanding, beyond where credit is due. They're also expanding darkness throughout the whole universe. This darkness of ignorance by which people don't know what to do. We see in the Bhagavatam, what is it? Nate vidu svarta gatim hi vishnum drashaya ye bahir artamaninaha andayatander upaniyamanas te pisha tantram urudam nibadha. This is what they're doing there. It's just like the blind man being led by another blind man and then falling into a ditch. In the same way, materialistic people led by another materialistic man or scientist, they miss the right path and spoil the whole human form of life because they don't know that the human form of life is meant for surrendering to Vishnu, attaining that stage of devotional service. So instead of someone who's propagating that, they follow someone who's showing them how you can enjoy matter more, how you can enjoy the material world more. And like this, these people, the bogus scientists, they're expanding this darkness, this blindness throughout the universe, just like these demoniac sons of Diti. So because of them, we think that in our the universe that we're in, there's many suns. We have a sun in our solar system that's however many. Does anyone know how big they say it is? Anyone? Atar? No?
Metric or?
Oh, that's
Okay.
It's 1 million times bigger than Earth.
Okay, so there's a sun in our solar system 1 million times bigger than Earth. And then in other solar systems, you've got some red giants, which is a bigger sun, and then you've got some blue dwarfs, some smaller suns, and then you've got some supernovas, and you've got some spinning suns too. Then when the suns explode, they create a black hole, and a black hole is... Black hole is something, some sort of vacuum or something, and the thing, if you get too close to it, anything could happen. The whole universe could, anyway, I don't want to get into, there's so many speculations about it. But yeah, so black holes, they like to be in sci-fi movies, and time works different around them, and whatever. So yeah, there's black holes. What else is there out there?
Galaxies.
Yeah, there's all these different galaxies and solar systems, and they're all light years away. So we have our sun, and then we have got our moon, and we've got these different planets, and our solar system is many millions of light years, and all these other suns, they look like small little twinkly dots in the sky because they're quadrillions of light years away, and a light year is
How long it takes for light to travel in a year?
how long it takes for light to travel in a year, and that distance is
3 into 10 power 8 meters per second.
3 to the 10 power of 8 meters per second, so it's how far in total? It's a whole light year. We don't know.
How many seconds? It's around 6 trillion miles.
It's around 6 trillion miles. So because of this, and so we've got this whole gigantic universe, and it's expanding. Sometimes they say it's expanding. It's going further out because it all started from nothing. And when nothing exploded, that explosion, you can still, by tracing the light patterns of these different red giants and whatnot, and seeing how the color changes on them, you can see that the universe is still expanding outwards from this explosion of nothing. So something like that is going on. And because we're taught that over and over again, it might be a little bit confusing, some of the descriptions in the Bhagavatam and how to add them all up. So in the same way that we see devotees compromise in so many areas of Krishna consciousness when we travel around the country or get videos from devotees of other countries. Like, unfortunately, today we just saw this video of devotees worshipping Sai Baba in a temple in Canada. In front of Gaur Nitai. It's completely absurd. So, yeah, unfortunately, if devotees can compromise in so many areas to the point of worshipping Sai Baba in temples, we can understand that there's also probably some compromise when it comes to the science and cosmology explained in the Bhagavatam. Because we don't want to preach too strongly or distribute books or do harinam or wear devotional clothes in the karmi society, because it might just rub them the wrong way. And what will they think of us? And then this and that and the other thing. And in the same way, when going against scientists who are the leaders of society, they're the brahmanas who everyone looks up to, we definitely don't want to say something that goes against them, because they're the big shots and all that. So we can understand there's probably some compromising that goes on in this field as well. So it's helpful to understand what is the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam saying. And some devotees might say, well, I don't actually need to, Prabhu, that's really detailed, and you don't need to know it unless you're a scientist devotee, whatever. But actually, at the very least, for our own sanity, which is really not what we're after. We know we want to spread the Krishna consciousness movement and preach Krishna consciousness, and give that to others and make devotees and all of these things. So we're not just after our own like sanity or comfort, but if that's all one can think about, at least at that level, we should understand the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam and what's being said there, because it's subject to get attacked from inside and outside by so many misconceptions, whether from scientists or from devotees who want to accommodate the scientists that Srila Prabhupada calls rascals. So this idea of the universe being all these millions and quadrillions of light years distance, with all the black holes and red giants and all these things, it makes it hard to understand. We see in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 5th canto that our universe is described as being 4 billion miles in diameter, and that's it. And that doesn't work with the modern science theory at all. And if you want to agree with them at all or accommodate them and show how the Vedas and modern science go together and it's nice and this and that, it's not exactly going to work out in that way. So then you'll have to change so many different things. Well, maybe there are many suns. Maybe Shukadeva Goswami, he says at the beginning of the 5th canto that that someone can't describe everything in the universe. So maybe the rest of what he said he didn't describe properly. Or Srila Prabhupada once has one quote where he says that I'm not satisfied when he's talking about the 5th canto. So maybe he didn't write it properly when he wrote the 5th canto. So many different stupid doubts that people have in order to accommodate the scientists. But if we just understand what's there, that'll make things easier. So in the 5th canto, there's this 4 billion mile universe. It's not 4 quadrillion light years or 480 billion whatever. I'll bring up the verse here. Let's see. So, so one thing that devotees say is, because our universe is very small, like you see in that pastime in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's the smallest actually of all the universes. That's why our Brahma has 4 heads. But because it doesn't fit the Dr. Frog's big puffed up theory of how big our universe is. Our universe is a quadrillion million light years with all these red giants, all these stars, all these planets, but there's no life. There's just life on our planet. It's crazy. But anyway, since it doesn't fit that idea, some devotees sometimes say that Shukadeva Goswami is not talking about our universe when he's describing our universe in the 5th canto. He's just talking about our solar system, guys. And I'll show you why, because it makes a lot of sense. If you understand modern science and you understand the Bhagavatam, then it makes perfect sense. Because, let's see, the Bhagavatam sets so I'm reading from Vedic Cosmology from His Holiness Dhanavir Goswami here. Strictly speaking, the Bhagavatam, but this is quoting the powerful,
Powerful.
the people who don't
Powerful.
understand, the powerful people. Strictly speaking, the Bhagavatam sets the diameter of the Brahmanda, our universe, to 500 million yojanas, and this equals the diameter of the Bhumandala disk, that's talking about the earthly planetary system, Bhumandala disk, which cuts it in half. At a traditional length of about 8 miles per yojana, this comes to 4 billion miles. They say this is far too small for the universe of stars and galaxies. This is what it's sometimes referred to, our modern conception, the universe of stars and galaxies. This is far too small for the universe of stars and galaxies, but it does fall in the right range of the size for the solar system. For example, the orbit of Uranus has a radius of about 1.8 billion miles. So 1.8 billion miles is the orbit of Uranus, and there's a couple other planets. They can't think of better names for these things. We get all these cool names in the Bhagavatam for, there's Surya, he's the demigod over the sun, presiding over the sun, and he's the sun, Shani, all these, they have Uranus. It's a planet. But the radius of the orbit of that planet is 1.8 billion miles, so maybe it's just a 4 million mile wide solar system, and that's what Shukadeva Goswami is talking about. But that's not the case. We see the Sanskrit term anda or andakoshaha both refer directly to the egg-shaped universe, not to a minute portion of the universe, which is termed the solar system. So we can see this verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 25. Shukadeva Goswami speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. Andakoshe Śrī Resmin Sapta Varana Samyute Vairaja Purusho Yoso Bhagavan Dharanashrayaha. The gigantic universal form of the personality of Godhead within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by sevenfold material elements, is the subject of the Virat conception. So in that statement, he's saying andakoshe, within the universal shell. So this egg-shaped universe, it's described in the Bhagavatam, that all these universes, there's like an unlimited number of them, and for Lord Shankarshan, they're just like a tiny mustard seed on his head. But there's so many of them, and they're each shaped like a football or an egg, and the middle of it is hollow, and each layer gets 2 times, it's covered by layers like shells, like an eggshell or something, you could say. So then each layer gets 2 times the size of the previous layer, and those are made of all the different elements. So, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And you can read about a devotee going through those in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita if you want to know what goes on in the layers of the universe. So that the inner portion of that universe, the hollow inner portion, is 4 billion miles. And then those layers are really big. But within those 4 billion miles, you can't fit all these black holes and everything. So maybe it's just our solar system, they're saying. In that verse above, Shukadeva Goswami clearly outlines the parameters in his discourse, i.e. the entire universe, which is covered by 7 layers. Now here's a text. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, Text 34. Varsha Puga Sahasrante Tad Andam Udake Shayam Kala Karma Swabhavasto Jivo Jivam Ajivayat. Thus all the universes remained thousands of eons within the water, the causal ocean, and the Lord of living beings entering in each of them caused them to be fully animated. Note in the verse above that Lord Brahma, the architect of the universe, uses the same word, andam, to refer to the exact same object described by Shukadeva Goswami, mainly the universal globe. So it's pretty clear, it's not the solar system that we're in with Uranus and Mars and these other planets, but it's the universal globe, the whole universe. Pramanam andakoshasya bhaya byantara vedata mahatam chanucharitam varnashrama vinishchayaha. Also, please describe the inner and outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of social life. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.8.16, Maharaj Parikshit to Shukadeva Goswami. Maharaj Parikshit requests detailed measurements, pramanam, about the universe, again, same word, andakoshasya. Shukadeva Goswami replies exactly to the point, citing the discussion between two exalted scientists, Maitreya to Vidura. Vikarai sahito yukter visheshadibir avrita andakosho, the same word again for the universe, bahir ayam panchashat koti visritaha. This phenomenal material world is expanded to a diameter of 4 billion miles as a combination of 8 material elements transformed into 16 further categories within and without as follows. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explicitly instructs that the entire universe extends diametrically to 4 billion miles. Purport. As explained before, the entire material world is a display of, and you might think, well, why do we care so much how big the universe is, and it's 4 billion miles? Why do we care so much? Because the whole idea of what the universe is from the scientists is structured on this point, that the universe is quadruple billions of light years, and then you can fit all these black holes, millions of suns. Because if there were so many suns this close to our planet, we'd burn up. But supposedly there are so many suns, it's just that they're quadrillions of light years away. So, purport. As explained before, the entire material world is a display of 16 diversities and 8 material elements. The analytical studies of the material world are the subject matter of Sankhya philosophy. The first 16 diversities are the 11 senses and the 5 sense objects, and the 8 elements are the gross and subtle matter, namely earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and ego. All these combined together are distributed throughout the entire universe, which extends diametrically to 4 billion miles. Besides this universe of our experience, there are innumerable other universes. Some of them are bigger than the present one, and all of them are clustered together under the similar material elements as described below. So, there it's pretty clear that our universe isn't... Shukadeva Goswami is not speaking about just our solar system, but he's speaking about the whole universe, which is 4 billion miles in diameter. And in that 4 billion mile universe, there's only one sun. There's not millions and millions, like, what's his name? Who's that big scientist? He actually talks about Mahavishnu in that really famous show. Okay, so there's Cosmos. He made the original Cosmos. No, but not him. He's like the new, the old one. He's Neil deGrasse Tyson's Acharya. No. He made the original Cosmos show.
Carl Sagan?
Yeah, so Carl Sagan, yeah, he has a book, I had it in high school, called Millions and Millions, or maybe it's called Billion, or Billions and Billions, describing, all these millions and billions of stars and galaxies and planets and suns and all these things. There are innumerable planets and everything. There's innumerable planets in the universe, but there's not millions and millions, unlike Carl Sagan says, suns in the universe. There's just one sun, and that sun is providing light for the whole universe. And its movements are described very specifically by Shukadeva Goswami in the Bhagavatam. He describes how there's the pole star, Dhruvaloka, at the top of the universe, and that this whole universe is just like a tree. Srila Prabhupada says the scientists don't know, this universe is just like a tree. So that's the shape of it, like a, I think he said like, I'll find some quotes in a second, but like an upside down tree, if I'm remembering correctly. Upside down? No, but not exactly that banyan tree analogy that's being spoken, but when he's showing the devotees how to make this, diagram in the temple of the Vedic planetarium, he's telling them to make it a chandelier, and it should be shaped just like a tree. The only part I'm blanking on is if it's upside down or not. But yeah, so I'll look at it, but I'm thinking upside down tree. So just like in the shape of an upside down tree, there's Dhruvaloka, the pole star, and that planet is holding all the other planets by ropes made of wind. And as it turns, this whole tree chandelier of all the planets is turning with the rotation of the pole star. So the sun, along with all the other planets, is following that gigantic motion of the pole star pulling all these planets. But then it also has its own motion which is going in the opposite direction, which I haven't been able to understand what that looks like yet. I'm going to look through the Vedic Cosmos movie later to try to understand that, because Shukadeva Goswami gives an analogy in the Srimad Bhagavatam that it's just like ants on a potter's wheel. So the potter's wheel is moving one way, and then the ants on the wheel, they can also move in a different direction while the wheel is moving one way. So you got one big motion of the wheel, and then the ants can also be going slowly walking the other way while the big motion of the wheel is turning. So it's hard to understand, but I'll look at some things later. But so the sun is going over around Sumeru Mountain, this big golden mountain in the middle of the universe, and it's upside down. It's very far out. So an upside down golden mountain in the middle of the universe, and the sun has its orbit in one direction around this Sumeru Mountain, and it also travels up and down, which is described in Bhagavatam as north and south, up and down. And at the same time, this pole star is pulling all the planets and the sun in an opposite direction to that. They're all going. So, and that sun is giving light to all the planets that are above the earthly planetary system. So you've got the earthly, like we've read before, I think the word was like disk or something like that. But that Bhumandala, this whole earth terrain in the middle of this big egg-shaped universe. So below that, you got your subterranean planets down lower, there's like hellish planets. But from where Earth is and up, the sun is what's giving light to all of them. Under the Earth and the subterranean planets, you have to get light from crystals on the heads of big nagas and things like that, artificial. So might not be very nice. But we do hear that the architecture is very nice, actually, in the subterranean heavenly. Yeah, subterranean heavenly planets, they know how to party. So this one sun is providing light for everything up here, and but devotees who are trying to go with the scientists might provide many arguments why there's many suns. Let's see. They might say that the Bhagavatam is giving some metaphorical reason and things like this. Yeah, I'll just go through one more of the arguments in here real quick. We go till 7:30?
7:45.
Okay, so I'll go through one more of the arguments. Modern astronomers, this is one of their arguments. Modern astronomers say that many other stars are like suns, but even they don't say that they are suns, except in a metaphorical sense. Even in modern English, the word sun refers only to one celestial body. So this is one, excuse given. They're not saying that these red giants and blue dwarfs and all these are suns. They say that they're like suns. So red dwarfs and blue giants and all these things are probably what all these things are that we see in the sky. What does it mean to say that an object is like the sun? If it means that the object gives substantial heat and light to Earth, then scientists will agree that there is only one sun in the universe. They'll agree with the Bhagavatam. Perhaps it means that the object gives off its own heat and light. To be sure, the Puranas state that stars shine with reflected sunlight. However, consider the following quote from the Mahabharata. So they may give this quote to show that there actually are many suns. And on this sun-like, divine, wonder-working chariot, the wise scion of Kuru flew joyously upward. While becoming invisible to mortals who walk on earth, he saw wondrous airborne chariots by the thousands. No sun shone there, or moon, or fire, but they shone with the light of their own acquired by their merits. Those lights that are seen as the stars look tiny like oil flames because of the distance, but they are very large. The Pandava saw them bright and beautiful, burning on their own hearths with the fire of their own. And then these people may say, so instead of calling them suns, one could call them self-luminous hearths, and the scientists would agree with this. But the problem with that is that modern scientists do explicitly say that these many stars are suns within the sky that we see. And here's one quote from the Florida State University Physics Department. We have Stars as Suns is the name of the article. Stars are suns. That's what the first sentence is. Although a large number of stars are like our nearest star, the sun, many stars are much smaller, while some are thousands of times larger. Some are thousands of times dimmer than the sun, and others are thousands of times brighter. The sun appears so bright simply because we happen to be so close to it. The next nearest star, Alpha Centauri, is about 250,000 times further away. It is therefore not surprising that stars appear to us as mere points of light. From Florida State University. So, let's see. So yeah, that's one problem with it, is that they do actually say these suns are stars. So to try to, or that these stars are suns. So to try and agree with them by using some quote from the Mahabharata isn't going to work out, because they are saying there's many suns here. So Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita that amongst our, the Sanskrit word used most often for stars or constellations of stars is nakshatram. Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita that among stars I am the moon. Srila Prabhupada nicely explains in his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 5.21.11 as follows. So this is giving some idea of what these, stars that we see are. One of them is the moon. They're reflective things. In Bhagavad Gita 10.21, here's Srila Prabhupada speaking. In Bhagavad Gita 10.21, Krishna says, Nakshatranam aham shashi, of stars I am the moon. This indicates that the moon is similar to the other stars. The Vedic literature informs us that within this universe there is one sun which is moving. The Western theory that all the luminaries in the sky are different suns is not confirmed in the Vedic literature, nor can we assume that these luminaries are the suns of other universes. That's another idea. Nor can we assume that these luminaries are the suns of other universes, for each universe is covered by various layers of material elements, and therefore, although the universes are clustered together, we cannot see from one universe to another. In other words, whatever we see is within this one universe. So, there's one more sentence there. In each universe, there is one Lord Brahma, and there are other demigods on other planets, but there is only one sun. So, that's just a few points about the one sun in our smallest of universes, four-headed Brahma universe of 4 billion miles. And yeah, this modern scientific idea is not there in the Bhagavatam, that there's quadrillions of endless light years of space and there's many suns. It's not there. But these things that we do see, they're reflecting the light of the sun in the sky. There are some places where Srila Prabhupada does say some things about some of these objects having some light. Like he mentions in the one song that the moon rays are... Yeah, in Nitai Pada Kamala, that the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are more cooling than millions of moons. So Srila Prabhupada says, therefore, the moon must have cool flame to have this cooling rays. So there are some places where he mentions them having some sort of luminance like that, but there's no idea that all these things are some different fiery sun, that's heating up a whole area like that. And there's also no idea that the sun is stationary and everything else is moving around it. The sun's moving and all the other planets are moving, being pulled by the pole star. So those are just a few points on it.
I had a question. You were saying about the...
Is this with the ant and the pottery wheel?
No.
It's like okay.
I had a question about... you're speaking about the Brahmanda being the shape of an egg, and you said the middle of the egg is hollow.
Yeah.
And then as you keep going away from the egg, each size is bigger than the twice as big as the previous layer.
Layers.
But I'm just wondering if, could you hold the mic, please? So if I were looking at it like an egg or a football or an egg, right? It seems like the most amount of area is in the middle, and then as it goes on, the area reduces.
Yeah.
Right? So how is it that one size is twice the size?
That analogy
isn't. It doesn't like.
That analogy is not to explain the. That analogy is just to explain the shape. That's only when there's like a football shape or an egg-shaped universe, but it's not like egg-structured universe. That there's There's a little yolk, a little more
No.
juice, and then just a thin shell.
Yeah, and I'm just so it's a Brahmanda, right? So it is in the shape of an egg. That's very clear from Shastra. So I'm just wondering how that twice as big thing works. Is it
They're
inconsistent?
thick.
There's more
It's
inside
mostly
the egg,
layers.
so
Right.
the inside of the egg is much bigger than the actual shell.
Right. That's what I'm.
No, the shell part of the universe is bigger.
Yeah.
There's just a little hollow part.
Yeah.
Logically, how's that? Like,
Yeah. How does that work? You know, if you were to look at a shape like that, as you move away from the center, the size decreases, right? Am I making sense?
Yeah, yeah. There's
So because when the size is decreasing, how can we say? I mean, how can we logically understand, or can we logically understand that each layer is twice as big as the previous one? How is it possible?
yeah. That means the object is most of the distance is in the layers. Like if you're outside of the universe looking at it, you've got this big ball, and there's a tiny hollow part in it, but it's mostly a shell of layers.
So you're saying the layer is also part of the description?
The 4 billion miles is for the inside, the hollow, where we are.
Okay. And so then the shell has a different. So these different coverings are within the shell and not within the substance of the shell.
There's how many of those elements are there? 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's seven coverings. Each of these elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind.
It's 8, yeah.
Eight.
Okay.
Okay, so we're in a 4 billion mile globe-shaped hollow part of this big ball, and there's
Okay.
a sun.
So where we are is like on the. It's like if this is the
Inside hollow part is the 4 billion.
So are we inside the hollow part?
Yeah.
Oh, I see
That's
the
where
layers
there's
of
Earth, Sun, heavenly planets, lower planets. All this is in a 4 billion mile diameter hollow part of the ball. And then once you go out past that, which you're not going to see out past that, so it's not that.
Oh, so you're gonna go past the sun. So now we're entering the layers, is it? Now
Yeah, you
we're
break out of the first layer of the universe. And now
So
we're
if you're
talking.
breaking out the first shell, basically.
Yeah, yeah, and
And there's bigger shells.
yeah.
Okay.
So someone could say, well, we only have a 4 billion mile hollow part that we're in. So maybe these millions of light years away galaxies and stars we're seeing are in the layers of it. But that's not there. Srila Prabhupada explains you're not going
Can't
to
see with the
see.
naked eye.
Yeah, you won't see out of the layers of the universe. So, and we also see that when Arjuna in the Krishna book,
Yeah, yeah.
when they're traveling out, it's super dark.
Yeah.
And then they have to do some cool stuff
No,
to
Krishna
see.
throws the
Yeah, he
Sudarshan
throws his Sudarshan chakra. So we're in this 4 billion mile diameter
One then
hollow
the
part.
layer, then one
Earth
peel,
would be
one
8
peel of the
billion.
layer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
One peel of the layer would
So
be
then
like
one
water,
peel,
then
earth.
The next peel is twice as big. It'll be fire, and then the
One
next
peel
peel.
water,
Oh,
one
okay.
peel
So the Brahmanda is
fire,
bigger than the
one peel.
universe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Brahmanda- How big is the Brahmanda though?
You just have to
I
do
could
the
try
math
to-
on it, no? You just do it twice.
I could
4
try to
billion
find a
times
verse
2,
real quick.
Times 2, so it'll be 64 billion.
It's there.
Yeah,
It's mentioned many times, so I could
It'll
try
be
to find
basically
it while
8
we
to the
do the
power of
questions.
8, wouldn't it? That's
Well, the hollow part plus the
Yeah,
earth
times
layer would
2,
be
yeah.
12 million. Because you have the 4 million, and then 8 million is the size
4
of...
billion, no?
The
Yeah,
4 billion.
4 billion is the
Then
hollow, and then
times.
earth would be 8 million.
8
So
billion,
4
4 billion
4 billion plus the 8 million is 12
12 billion.
billion.
Altogether, the
Plus
use.
16 billion.
Yeah, like that. Yes,
So
you just have to do the math. I
20
think it's 64. I think if I'm doing my
billion
math, it must be 64 billion, right?
I'm trying to like do this summation.
I can read some of it
Yeah,
here.
please read. But yeah, better we just read that.
Okay. Universal size. From Vedic literature, we find that our universe, compared to other universes, is relatively small. The Brahma in charge has only 4 heads, so we spoke about that a little bit. There's the pastime in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishna informs Lord Brahma that he's in the smallest of the universes, which has a diameter of only 4 billion miles, and consequently, you have only 4 heads, he tells him. So then in Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm just kind of skimming through it and trying to pick out the essential parts. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:11:40 confirms the distance of 4 billion miles. That's the part that we read earlier. The phenomenal material world is expanded to a diameter of 4 billion miles. Half of the universe is filled with the water of the Garbhodaka ocean, and the other half is filled with planets floating in space. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 596 confirms that. This huge egg-like universe, Brahmanda, is covered by 7 layers of material elements, earth, water, fire, air, etc. The first layer is 10 times the diameter of the universe, i.e. 40 billion
Oh
miles.
my God.
First layer.
Then it's times 2.
No,
I
it's
might have
not
gotten it
times
wrong.
two, it's
The
10 times.
first
the
layer.
first one's 10 times, but after that it's
Let's see. The first layer is 40 billion miles. The next is 10 times that.
Dude, it increased by 10 times.
Namely, 400 billion miles.
Oh, so it's not times 2.
Each layer is successively 10 times greater than the previous one.
It's not even twice. 10 times.
Yeah. And here's the verse from the
We are
Bhagavatam.
insignificant boys.
Yeah. And there's living entities in those layers. You see
Yeah.
in the Brihad Bhagavatam.
Yeah,
Rita.
yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam 6:16-37. I'll read the translation. Every universe is covered by 7 layers: earth, water, fire, air, sky, the total energy, and false ego, each 10 times greater than the previous one. And continuing. Altogether, the universe of floating planets and its immense coverings has a radius of approximately, did anyone guess it?
What did I say?
46.2 quadrillion miles.
Whoa.
That's what the scientists are talking about.
No, this is so that's what people might claim, or a diameter of approximately 92.4 quadrillion miles. To calculate the circumference of the universe, we multiply the diameter times pi 3.14, which equals approximately. So this is the circumference of the universe, approximately 290 quadrillion miles, or 36.3 quadrillion yojanas. A yojana is 8 miles. This figure brings us into the realm of calculations presented by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati in the Siddhanta Shiromani. Here's a quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 2184, purport. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one of the greatest astrologers of his time, gives information from Siddhanta Shiromani that this universe measures 18 quadrillion 712 million, billion, quadrillion, trillion, isn't it? Okay. 18 trillion, 7
Trillion, quadrillion.
yeah, trillion then quadrillion?
Yeah, because
because tree like 3.
Okay. 4.
18 quadrillion 712 trillion 69 billion 200 million times 8 miles.
Oh my God.
This is the circumference of this universe. The circumference of this universe. According to some, this is only half the circumference.
Oh yeah, dude.
Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 2184 purport. So
Everything, the whole thing.
and just continuing a little, if 18 quadrillion 712 trillion 69 billion 200 million yojanas is half the circumference, then the full circumference is 37 quadrillion 424 trillion 138 billion 400 million yojanas figure. Srila Prabhupada always supported the Srimad Bhagavatam statement that the part of the universe that contains planets and the Garbhodaka ocean, which is the relatively hollow part within the coverings, is 4 billion miles in diameter. Prabhupada, the whole universe diameter is Panchashat Koti Yojana, 50 crore yojanas Panchashat. So 1 yojana equals to 8 miles, 1 crore equal to 10 million. Paramahamsa, 4 billion miles is the diameter. Srila Prabhupada is the diameter. Paramahamsa, you gave that in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya also. Prabhupada, yes, and the sun is in the middle. Paramahamsa, so 2 billion miles from the edge of the universe. Prabhupada, yes. Morning Walk, May 12, 1975. And yeah, so there's some of the understanding of the universe.
Prabhu, could you quickly tell us about the time Maharaj did tapasya in order for him to get this knowledge? We found that quote in the Garga Samhita.
In the Garga Samhita, Maharaj mentioned how he went to Ganga Sarovara, where Lord Kapila Dev is still there, with some devotees before embarking on this Vedic cosmology project to ask and pray for the blessings of Lord Kapila Dev. So that's the bona fide way to do an activity, is to get the blessings of the superior authorities in that field, who aren't Carl Sagan, these people. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
This is like a purport for you, huh? And two, one and two.